Hi, I'm McBride.
And I'm Schramek.
You're killing me, Smalls. If you build it, he will come. Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. What do these all have in common? These are some of the greatest lines ever uttered in movies, all pertaining to America's national pastime, baseball. As kids, we played, watched, and listened to the game of baseball. This game is closely tied to us in a very personal way. But what you may not realize is how much it is also tied to history. The game of baseball has played a very active role in the shaping of this nation. From the Civil War to civil rights and all points in between and beyond, the game of baseball supports and reflects many aspects of American life, from culture to economies and technological advances. It inspires movements, instills pride, and even heals cities. While the exact origins of baseball are unknown, it is said that a young man named Abner Doubleday is often credited with developing the game. This information was retrieved on May 4th. As many people thought this was true, it actually wasn't even close to being in the ballpark. Although popular legend says that the game was invented by Abner Doubleday, baseball's true father was Cartwright. This information was retrieved on May 5th. Often cited as a major contributor to the origins of modern American baseball, Alexander Cartwright was an influential member of the Knickerbocker Baseball Club of New York City. With the Knickerbockers, Cartwright was a respected voice who helped guide one of the more renowned clubs in New York's burgeoning baseball scene in the mid-1800s. His contributions to the game were truly a big success.
With the game of baseball created, rules had to be put in place. Some of the rules that we see today have definitely changed over time. One of the biggest rule changes in the history of baseball, retrieved on May 5th, said that the game was won when one side scored 21 aces, or runs. Now, it is a 9-inning contest and the highest scoring team wins. This particular rule change sparked other rules to be set, like the rule allowing a flat side to a bat be rescinded and the requirement that the bat be round and wholly of hard wood was substituted. Another major rule retrieved on May 4th came in 1864, stating that each base runner must touch each base in making the circuit. Along with rules came regulations, like the ball size and weight in 1872. The most recent rule, added in 2016, was slides on a potential double play will require that base runners must make a bona fide attempt to reach and remain on base. Without rules, the game of baseball truly wouldn't be the same as it is today. This might sound crazy, but the first professional games were played in the wake of a young nation's darkest days. This information was accessed on May 4th. The Civil War was one of the largest and most destructive wars in the Western world. Truly, how could baseball get brought into the topic? Well, even in the Civil War, baseball was a central part of American culture. This information was also retrieved on May 5th. Union soldiers more familiar with the game introduced others, including Southerners and Westerners, to baseball throughout the Civil War, resulting in thousands of soldiers learning the game. Upon returning home, the game spread to friends and neighbors, and soon the sport was played in every region of the country, solidifying its title as the national pastime. Overall, the American Civil War actually helped transform the game of baseball from a regional pastime in America's Northeast into a national obsession that endures to this day. The Civil Rights Movement in the 1950s and 60s fought against segregation. Again, what does baseball have to do with segregation? Stated by baseball's integration in the contemporary Civil Rights Movement, retrieved on May 4th, it is well known that black people were largely banned from sports until the late 1940s, but the extent of this ban is rarely discussed. Before everything changed, African Americans played baseball on southern plantations. Within the African American community, baseball was a great source of pride, as dozens of teams traveled from town to town to entertain crowds. The African American leagues fielded outstanding players, and Hall of Famer Jackie Robinson became a key symbol of equality and made American history when he broke the color barrier in 1947. Here is a video furthermore explaining the situation.
On April 15, 1947, the most historic event in baseball occurred when Jackie Robinson debuted for the Brooklyn Dodgers and broke the league's color barrier. Since the beginning of baseball, African Americans had not been allowed to play with whites and had to instead form their own leagues, such as the Negro National League and the Negro American League. While he may not have been the best player in the Negro Leagues at the time, Robinson, talented, educated, and more importantly, with the emotional fortitude to handle the abuse, succeeded in the league.
It was truly Robinson's nonviolent reaction to the hatred, boos, racist taunts, and threatening letters that predated the sit-ins, freedom rides, and bus boycotts that Dr. King led nearly 10 years after baseball's color line was broken. The visceral reaction to Robinson's entry into baseball made the nation come face to face with racial injustice in what is supposed to be a country where all men are created equal, and, as a whole, black players gained numerous rights during the war. This information was retrieved on May 4th.
In conclusion, the history of baseball has played a very active role in the shaping of this nation. From the Civil War to civil rights, and all points in between and beyond, the history of baseball truly shows how families and friends can come together to have a good time. In both of our standpoints, baseball has been a part of our lives for as long as we can remember, and we surely will pass our love for the game through generations to come. Thank you.